Peter Shockey is an author and TV investigator whose Doubleday book, Reflections of Heaven, began as a collection of inspirational stories he'd originally gathered for television. He states in this book that many of the amazing incidents which he has personally witnessed in his life have somehow evaded the camera. But the following is what Shockey claims as one of his favorite signs and wonders that did get caught on tape.
You might have seen a previous episode in which we interviewed a Jesuit priest at a Southwest mission called the Lord's Ranch. We were looking into an amazing story about a miraculous multiplication of food, which was said to have happened one special Christmas Day.
When one of our film crews went out to investigate the story at the Lord's Ranch, they were greeted by something quite unexpected.
We just arrived here, and I told our cameraman that we needed to shoot a dark sky because when we get home, I'm planning to superimpose a rainbow for an effect. And not 30 seconds later, we turned and saw this most beautiful double rainbow I've ever seen in my life.
This is a sign that the Lord has given you to show you what He does here. That He performs miracles here. And this is His sign for you, that rainbow. Made to order.
I love that turn of phrase, "I'll believe it when I see it," into the statement of faith which says, "You'll see it when you believe it." I've come to accept, after all I've seen and the many little coincidences that happen while living a life of faith in God, that I really do have a willful influence on my own life by the direction of my faith. My own mother also has a very strong faith in God, and I've seen her prayers answered many times, but there was one particular incident which stands out for me and for my family as one of those times where Mom's love for us kids must have tapped into some sort of a special prayer hotline.
My daughter and her husband, who have 2 little boys, had told me that they were vaguely thinking of moving because their house was a little too crowded if ever they would have a 3rd child. So I had just remembered that, and I thought, oh, well, why don't I go and have a look in the neighborhood?
She had driven around her neighborhood for about an hour when a white house with black shutters caught her eye. She remembered seeing it several years ago when it had been up for sale and knew that it would be perfect for my sister Christine.
So I parked in front of it and I prayed to the Lord, and I thought, Lord, I know that's what I'm asking is a little silly because this house is not for sale. Obviously, people are very happy in that house. But do you think that perhaps you could put it on the market? 2 days later, my daughter called me and she said, Mom, we have made an offer on a house. It's not very far from you. So I said to her, it's not far from me. Where is it? She said, well, it's on a cul-de-sac. And I said, on a cul-de-sac? You mean, could it be a white house with black shutters? And she said, yes. So I thought, that must be the house. It was a house. And I said, but Christine, it's not for sale. And she said, it's going to be for sale in 2 days. My college roommate lives a few doors from it. And she told me that the neighbor told her it was going to be for sale in 2 days. So my children were able to buy the house. And now I love to sit on that lawn in front of the house and look at my grandchildren play with their new friends on that cul-de-sac.
I've heard other people say that love seems to be a motivating factor behind the miracle stories they tell us about. Love for a friend, love from a parent to a child, or compassion for a stranger.
Some people might say, no, it's not a miracle, it's just a coincidence. But I am convinced that it is an answer to prayer. I was not in a terrible need when I prayed. I wasn't just begging God to meet a need of my children. It's a prayer that came spontaneously to me when I was in front of that house. And that makes me think of the letter of Paul to the Corinthians when he says that we don't know always how to pray and that the Holy Spirit prays for us. I think the Holy Spirit put that prayer in my mouth.